Yep, my tyres are okay. Can I extend? How many more laps left?
And box, box 20 laps.
I don't want to stop. 20 laps left.
Box.
What if I told you Lewis Hamilton didn't just join Ferrari to win races? What if I told you he joined to change the DNA of the team, and that behind one "I don't want to stop" radio message lies something far deeper? A quiet war for control, a clash of cultures, and a mission to turn Formula One's most iconic team into a machine worthy of a champion. This isn't about pit strategy. This is about power, philosophy, and the slow, painful rebirth of Ferrari. Stick around, because what we're about to reveal will make you look at that Austrian GP call in a completely new light. Before we jump into this, give that like button a proper shunt. Hit it like Hamilton hitting apexes in 2019. You know what to do. Let's not kid ourselves. Lewis Hamilton didn't leave Mercedes to just see what Ferrari felt like. This is the most data-driven, execution-obsessed athlete in the history of the sport. If he jumped ship, he saw a project. He saw potential. But most importantly, he saw what needed fixing. And let's be real, Ferrari has always had speed. What they've lacked consistently is operational sharpness under pressure. Missed pit calls, misread strategy windows, communication breakdowns. In Austria, when Lewis questioned the box call, it wasn't petulance, it was experience. He knew what the tires felt like. He knew the context of the race. He asked a simple question, "Can I go longer?" But Ferrari's response? Box, box. And just like that, Hamilton obeyed. But the key moment wasn't the call, it was the tension behind it. That flash of friction between a 7-time world champion and a team still learning to listen to its drivers with real trust. And what's wild is, that tension is exactly what Ferrari needs. Jerome D'Ambrosio, standing in for Vasseur, tried to downplay it. He called it standard, said it was the optimal strategy. Maybe it was. But think about this. D'Ambrosio is also new. He's from Mercedes too. He and Lewis are talking constantly behind the scenes. They're not just learning Ferrari, they're quietly rebuilding it. From comms culture, to decision layers, to trackside feedback loops. This is the beginning of an internal revolution. And trust me, Ferrari hasn't seen something like this since Jean Todt and Michael Schumacher changed the way Maranello worked. History is repeating itself, but this time, it's Lewis calling the shots. Let's zoom out. For years, Ferrari has operated on passion, sometimes brilliant, often chaotic. The Tifosi love it. But Hamilton doesn't do chaos. He wants systems, he wants process, he wants precision, and now with D'Ambrosio echoing that same language, talking about continuous improvement, alignment, team-wide review sessions. We're seeing Ferrari move from instinct to iteration. This isn't sexy to most fans, but to us, it's everything. Because if Ferrari gets this right, if they can blend raw speed with calm execution, they become lethal. Let me give you a real-world example. The Austrian GP. Hamilton finishes 4th, Leclerc 3rd, no errors, clean stops, solid communication. It was efficient. But here's the part you didn't hear on commentary. That was one of the most Mercedes-like weekends Ferrari has run in 5 years. And you can bet Lewis noticed. He called it the best operational qualifying since joining. That's not praise, that's a benchmark. He's setting the standard publicly. He's doing what great champions do, raising the floor, not just chasing the ceiling. And here's what nobody's brave enough to say. Charles Leclerc, brilliant as he is, has never led a team revolution. He's a gladiator, not an architect. Lewis, he's both. So now every debrief is more than just tire talk. It's a referendum on what Ferrari wants to be. D'Ambrosio gets it. Vasseur knows it. And the fans? They're about to witness something we haven't seen since the early 2000s. Ferrari, disciplined, dangerous, relentless. You want a drama? It's here, but not the kind you hear on the radio. The kind that happens in boardrooms, in quiet meetings, in the way a team shifts its mindset, lap by lap, session by session. Hamilton came to Ferrari to win, But to do that, he has to remake them in his image. And that, more than any overtake, any podium, any pole, will be his greatest achievement if he pulls it off. So keep watching, because the old Ferrari is dying, and something terrifyingly efficient is rising in its place. Now, if you made it this far, you clearly don't settle for surface-level F1 takes. So reward your own IQ, smash that like button, and drop a comment. Is Hamilton building something historic at Ferrari, or will the red beast swallow him whole? Let's find out together. What if I told you that Ferrari has a psychological advantage at Silverstone? That beneath the stats, behind the 18 wins and the legacy of champions, there's something bigger happening? Fred Vasseur is back. Hamilton is racing at home. Ferrari just closed the gap to Mercedes. And Silverstone? Silverstone is not just another race. It's a proving ground for legends and the graveyard for pretenders. You think this is just another chapter in the 2025 season? Wrong. This might be the weekend Ferrari shifts the balance of power. Smash that like button like Ferrari smashed expectations in Austria. Let's dive into the data, the drama, and the deep history that nobody else is talking about. Everyone knows the stat, 18 wins at the British Grand Prix. Ferrari is the most successful constructor in British GP history. But let's be honest, that alone doesn't win you races in 2025. What matters is why Silverstone plays into Ferrari's DNA. This is a track that rewards aerodynamic stability driver, confidence in high-speed transitions, a car that can generate downforce in all the right places without dragging itself into the gravel. Ferrari's SF25, flawed in its original spec, just got a significant upgrade in Austria. A revised floor, optimized for better airflow management and improved ride height sensitivity. Austria was the test. Silverstone is the battlefield. Now here's what nobody's saying. Silverstone is Leclerc's favorite type of challenge. And for Hamilton, this isn't just home turf. It's sacred ground. He's chasing a 10th British GP win. And no one wants to beat Mercedes on British soil more than Ferrari's newest knight in red. So the question becomes, is this the first race where we finally see the unlocked version of Hamilton at Ferrari? If you're still here, you already know you're not a casual fan. So prove it. Drop a like for every world championship Ferrari and Lewis are hunting down in 2025. Let's talk leadership. Fred Vasseur missed the Austrian GP. For personal reasons, they said, and Ferrari still pulled off a clean P3 to P4 result. But now he's back, and at Silverstone no less. This isn't just about showing face, it's symbolic. You think it's coincidence Vasseur chose Silverstone for his return? Think again. This is the track where Ferrari made headlines in the Schumacher era. Kimi Räikkönen clawed back results that looked mathematically impossible. Even Sebastian Vettel, in his more chaotic Ferrari days, delivered one of his most complete wins in 2018. Fred knows the pressure here. He knows that in the UK, in Mercedes' backyard, a strong Ferrari result isn't just a podium, it's a statement. And let's not forget, Ferrari is now ahead of Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship by 1 point, but that 1 point is psychological warfare. And the fact that it's happening just as the SF25 begins to evolve into a sharper, more predictable car, that's not timing, that's tactical escalation. Vasseur didn't return for another GP, he returned to take control of the narrative. So what's really at stake this weekend? A resurging Ferrari with fresh upgrades and a team finally clicking operationally? Lewis Hamilton racing in front of 140,000 of his own. Fred Vasseur returning at a symbolic track with history on his side. And if you look closely, you'll realize Ferrari isn't just racing for points. They're reclaiming their identity. They're aiming to turn history into fuel, to convert pressure into performance, and to send a message to Red Bull, to Mercedes, to McLaren. We're not waiting for 2026. We're coming for blood now. So, will this be the race that ignites Ferrari's full potential? You already know what to do. Hit like, subscribe for the real stories behind the headlines, and drop a comment. Does Ferrari have what it takes to win Silverstone, or are we watching another missed moment in red? Because this isn't just a race. This is Silverstone, And Ferrari doesn't come here to play. They come here to win.